tomorrow the annual Michigan tradition known as the 3 Free Weekend, which offers perks for those grabbing a fishing pole, riding off-road vehicles, or simply visiting our state parks. Here to give us an overview and a rundown, attorney Tom Sinas of Sinas Law Firm, joining us as he does every weekend. Tom, how does this weekend differ from other weekends out there for outdoor enthusiasts?
Well, this is a very special weekend. It only comes around once a year. And in that sense, all three of these things that you mentioned are free or somehow loosened. So what are we talking about? Well, with regard to ORVs, this particular weekend, ORV riders do not have to have an ORV license or a trail permit to ride any of the ORV trails in the state. Those who like to fish do not have to have a fishing license this particular weekend. And anyone who's going to a state park or a boat launch does not have to have a rec passport. Admission is free. Now, there are other weekends in the year where, say, fishing is free. There's another weekend in August where ORVs are free, but we call this one 3 Free because all of these activities are free or relaxed this particular weekend in June, I think, is a kind of way to kick off the summer.
Love it. You got to love getting outside. Talking about ORV, speaking of which, talk about some of the basic safety laws we need to be reminded of and keep in mind.
Yes. So as we've said before, we never take a holiday from safety, particularly when it comes to ORVs. Of these 3 things, of course, this is the way that people are most likely to be injured. So some basic pointers here. When it comes to the speed limit, Michigan has a general law that says ORV riders cannot operate at a speed that is greater than that which is reasonable and proper or careless, having due regard for the conditions. So it's not a set speed limit. It's the idea that you have to drive reasonably safe considering the conditions. And that makes sense, of course, because the conditions on ORV trails change considerably. However, if an ORV rider is on a county road, Michigan law permitted counties to let ORVs ride on county roads, but the ordinances in effect in those counties state that you can't travel faster than 25 miles an hour if you're operating an ORV on a county road. So there we do have a set speed limit. We also have rules about helmets. Anyone operating or riding on an ORV has to have a US DOT approved crash helmet. There are specific requirements for what age people can be when they operate an ORV or when they're within close proximity to an adult. So check that if you've got children who are considering driving one of these. And then, of course, alcohol and ORVs, dangerous combination. And there are very serious penalties for those people who are driving an ORV under the influence or, heaven forbid, operating an ORV under the influence and injuring someone else. And in that case, under Michigan law, it is a felony crime.
They're a lot of fun. You got to take it safe. Tom, where do people track you down? Do they have any questions about any of this stuff?
Well, they can find us online at www.sinasdramus.com. Give us a call at 616-301-3333 or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramus.com.
Good stuff as always. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Derek.